My parents were competitive water skiers at Cypress Gardens, and I literally grew up in a boat. I did not have a choice. My mother was a very feisty Italian woman, and when I was born, she said, well, we couldn't quit practicing just because you were born, so that was it. They put me in a carrier, tied me up underneath the bow of the boat, and off I went. She said the engine would start, I'd go to sleep. It would stop, I would wake up, and that was it. And I've been smelling outboard motor oil ever since I was a baby. And my brain still works, so it's okay. So the question that I posed was, is boating really a four-letter word? In some people's vocabulary, it can be. If you've ever met a boater before, sometimes they think it is. I have a story that my girlfriend told me one time. She said that she'd gone out with her husband, and that they were, had planned this date. She got all dressed up in her little black dress and, the high heels and the whole bit. And she said they'd gone out to dinner, and all night long, she's kind of flirting with him and talking, and he's like not talking to her and just kind of, ignoring her. And they got home, and she went home and she wrote in her diary, and this was like, she said it was, the week after Labor Day. So her diary said September 8th. Went out to dinner with my husband, wore my little black dress, he ignored me, wouldn't talk to me. I don't know what's going on. Could he be having an affair? Well then, if you go look at his diary, same day, September 8th, it says, boat wouldn't start, had a bad day today. So it can be like that sometimes. At the Freedom Boat Club, we hopefully make it easy for you. However, what I wanted to talk about today was some of the things that people need to think about if they are going to buy a boat. Because since I love boating so much, I really don't care if you buy a boat, if you rent a boat, or you join my club. Just get on the water and see this incredible, gorgeous city that we live in that is something that you cannot experience unless you have seen it from the water. And it is unbelievably beautiful, and there's lots of things to see. So, my first thing I want to talk about is the top four mistakes that people make when buying a boat. The first thing is that they can get very disappointed over the power performance. So if you're going to purchase a boat, you really need to think about what type of boating do you want to do? Do you want to go slow and cruise? Do you want to have a lot of horsepower so that you can take your kids water skiing, or always have a big group of people like I do? Or do you want to go in the backwaters fishing, and so you want to make sure that you get the right kind of power? And many times when people go to purchase a boat, they will get something that's either too little or too much. Safety features and sustainability. You want to make sure that the boat that you are purchasing is safe and it has a longevity. The way that you do that, there are so many tools out there for you to look at. The National Manufacturers Marine Association has a brochure, and it is called The Beginner's Guide to Boating. And it is actually free, and you can pick this up and it will teach you and tell you all the different makes and models, all the different kinds of boats, all the different kinds of engines. But one of the things when it comes to safety, features, and sustainability is there is a certification process for dealers. So the National Manufacturers Marine Association will actually certify a dealer. So my recommendation is that you buy a boat from a certified dealer, obviously. And these books are here, you can come get them when you get out. Purchasing mistakes. So those are sometimes when people get out and they get really excited and they go buy the first boat that they see, rather than taking the time to see what might be a better fit for them or a good fit for them. And then unscrupulous dealers or sellers. So I talked about the certification. There are dealers out there that are not certified and that have not checked out the boats. And then sometimes when you are buying a pre-owned boat, you want to make sure and have it checked out and not purchase from someone where you're going to be inheriting their problem that they're trying to get rid of. Things to consider. You want to think about style, handling, versatility, and ease of operation. So there are inboard boats, there are outboard boats. There are pontoon boats, there are deck boats. There are flats fishing boats, there are center consoles. All of those things are going to make a difference in how the boat handles and what you are trying to accomplish. Versatility. There are boats that are what we call dual boats, where you can fish and you can ski. So if you're going to be doing those type of activities, you would want to consider something like that. Ease of operation. When you go to purchase a boat, an outboard motor drives very different than a stern drive and then an inboard outboard or a straight inboard. So you want to make sure that your skills match the operating skills of the boat that you want to buy. And the only way that you can really actually do that is to test drive the boat. One of the things when we talk about power performance, and I'm going to talk about test driving a little bit, is that 7 out of 10 boaters, first-time boaters, actually will leave the sport in the first 5 years of purchasing a boat. And it's really sad to me because they didn't leave the sport because they didn't really like boating. Most of the time they left the sport because of financial issues, time constraints, or the boat did not perform the way they hoped it would. So they probably didn't do their homework, and they bought a boat that really wasn't for their family, and so they didn't take the time to research and buy the right boat for them. 85% of those people purchased a pre-owned boat, and like I talked to you before, when you are purchasing something pre-owned, you should definitely make sure that you get it checked out, or you're buying it from someone that's going to back it up, because that's what happened. They purchased the boat, had problems, and then they got frustrated with boating. You've got to make sure that you have the right power. If you're purchasing a sailing boat, that's going to have a lot less power than if you're purchasing a wakeboard boat and you want to have 10 people on your boat with you because you have a bunch of kids and they're going to have friends. So you want to make, you wouldn't purchase a Yugo to go racing. So you don't want to purchase a slow-moving boat that doesn't carry enough weight or get people out of the hole, what we call getting up on plane when you have skiers and wakeboarders. When I talk to you about the National Manufacturers Marine Association, and yes, that is me down in the engine room of my boat trying to fix the IAC valve, and it is not very much fun. Think of the UL, the Underwriters Laboratory of the boating world, and that's really what the NMMA is. And they certify the boats and they guarantee to adherence, safety standards, and federal regulations. And that is really, really important because you want to make sure you're safe with your children and with your family. The sustainability, all of the engines are not created equally, which I talked about, an inboard versus an outboard versus a four-stroke. So you want to do your research and know what is right for you and your family. Also, you want to think about maintenance. The yearly maintenance, storage, and repair and equipment can average about 10% of the boat's value every year. So when you are purchasing the boat, when I talked about the 7 out of 10 people, and I talked about financial constraints, what happened was they bought the boat because that's what they could afford without factoring in this extra 10%. So you've got to think about maintenance, equipment, storage, and all of the other things. So you need to add that into your formula when you are thinking about budget. You've got to figure on those additional expenses from the marina, insurance, registration, tax, and fuel. So you've got to take that all into consideration. And when people went out and figured a boat payment and said, oh, I can afford $400 a month, and then they forgot about all of these other costs. Boats can be impulsive buys, so I talked about making sure you do the test run. Understand your budget. Don't skip that test run in all circumstances, especially if you're buying a pre-owned boat. You want to make sure that you go out with the person you're buying it from, test drive it, see how it feels in the water, and see how it handles for you. And then remember, when you have people on board, it's going to handle differently. If you're pulling water skiers, tubers, wakeboarders, what we call getting out of the hull, which is where the boat gets up on plane and pulls those people, you want to make sure you have enough power to do that. So I live on the water. I am definitely a river rat, as you can tell. And I have some friends that live on the river right around the corner from me, and they were trying to teach their 10-year-old daughter and their 6-year-old son how to water ski the other day, and the boat did not have enough power to pull the kids up. The kids got frustrated, they're feeling tired, everybody's kind of screaming and not happy. So they called me and said, hey, would I take them behind my boat? And I was like, absolutely. So you don't want to get into that position. You want to make sure that what you are purchasing is right for everybody. So look for those amenities. You want to look for gadgets. You know, if you're going fishing, does it have a fish finder? You know, radar, GPS, all of those things you want to look for. Make sure that if the selling owner says the warranty still has a couple of years on it, make sure you read the fine print. Much like purchasing a car, sometimes those warranties are not transferable. So you want to make sure you're looking at that. Always buy a boat with a title. If there is not a title or the title's not clear, there's an issue and you don't want to get stuck with it. Also beware of going out of business sales, because if you're purchasing it from someone who's going out of business, if there is a warranty issue or it's not, you know, as you thought it was, then what is your recourse? What do you have to go back to? There are some really, really great tools out there to help you with all of this. I talked about the Discover Boating Guide. Wanted to show you here. Boat US has a guide that it will also give you all kinds of information to help you make that decision. And you should do your research. And then lastly, you can always come to the Freedom Boat Club office, and we have in our office the Boat Smart Guide, which has also a lot of information for you, and we're happy to share that with you. So one of the things that, so I've talked about boat ownership, so there's a lot of things to decide and think about if you want to purchase a boat. One of the things that's really wonderful about joining the Freedom Boat Club, which is the business that I own, is that we take all of that away from you and you don't have to do any of that. We do it all for you. So the Freedom Boat Club is membership boating. What it is you join as a member. As a member of our club, you get unlimited use of all of our boats. And we have 20 boats altogether. We have 11 boats at Julington Creek Marina in Juliana Creek, and we have 9 boats in St. Augustine at Comanche Cove. And it is literally unlimited. You show up at the dock, your boat will be gassed up, bow out, ready to go. You're going to go off and have a great time. You're going to come back, fill up the boat, and give the keys to us, and we do the rest. We clean it, we maintain it, we store it, we take care of it. The also wonderful thing is, if you happen to be like some families where the husband really likes to fish and the wife and kids really have no desire, the husband can go fishing on one day, flats fishing, take a center console and go inshore fishing, or go offshore fishing. And then the next day, pick up his wife and his children, his family, his girlfriend, whoever, take the deck boat and take them tubing or cruising, wakeboarding, or water skiing. So we have all different kinds of boats. Every 10 members that join, we buy another boat. So we keep a 10-to-1 boat-to-member ratio. So that's how we keep people in boats. So as the club grows, we grow with boats, and we always try to get a different kind of boat so that we're adding something different to the fleet for you. The next slide is going to show one of the really awesome things about the Freedom Boat Club, and that is that we have 71 locations across the United States, and we continue to grow. By the end of this year, we're going to have 73. We plan to have 200 in the next couple years, and you get reciprocal use at those locations. So you don't have to trailer your boat, you don't have to bring it, you don't have to do any of that. You can just go to those locations. You get to go to each one of them 4 times a year. So right now that's like 280 uses in a year, which even if you're retired, probably most people wouldn't do that. So, and then as the club continues to grow and we get new locations, you get to go to those. Michael Hammer was a business author, motivational speaker, and he says that average people in a great process will outperform great people in an average process every time. And what we say at the Freedom Boat Club, it's great people, great process, and that's what you get with the Freedom Boat Club family. And what I mean by that is that all of our dock staff is there to help you, to educate you, to show you everything that is available to you on the water. And the process itself, as far as us showing up at the dock, nothing to do, going out, having a great time, all of that makes it easy for you to go boating and to experience the city. I have a couple of things I wanted to hand out. I have some, or you can come get, I have some welcome to the water stickers to share with you. And then I also have, in Jacksonville, a lot of people don't realize all of the wonderful, fun things that you can do by boat in this city. And there's a lot of secrets. You can go to the zoo by boat. And if you go to the zoo by boat, you get to go for free. And children absolutely love to do that. So this is kind of like the top 10 things to do on the water in Jacksonville. You can go to Outback Crab Shack and have lunch. You can go to Whitey's Fish Camp. A lot of times they have bands playing there. You can go to the Riverside Art Market now, downtown by boat. You know, take your kids. It's a great Saturday morning thing to do. You can go to Green Cove Springs. There's a wonderful spring there and a park, and you can actually dock up right there. You can run around, let your kids run around the park. You can have a picnic in the pavilion and go see the spring, and they actually have a pool that you can swim in, which is really wonderful. You know, you can take a picnic lunch and just anchor out and watch the river run when the river run is going on. You can fish. There's just so many things to do. So I have some of these handouts if you want to see some of those. If you want to find out more about the Freedom Boat Club, we have a booth right in here in this little room, S111, and we can tell you all about the information. And or if you want to ask me questions about owning a boat, I'm happy to, because I actually am what I call a split personality. I own 2 boats myself and am quite an addicted boater, and I also own the Freedom Boat Club. And what I get to do with the Freedom Boat Club is I get to give the gift of boating to families and people that probably never were going to purchase a boat and always wanted to and didn't because one spouse wanted to, the other one didn't, or financial reasons, or they don't have any place to store it and it's too expensive. We are much less expensive than owning a boat. It's actually going to save you probably $30,000 over a 3-year period versus owning a boat. So it's a way that you can experience boating without all of the responsibility, and I love to give that gift to people. And so it just gives me joy every day to be able to do that. And yet, if you're one of those ones that wants to take the dive and buy the boat, I'm happy to tell you about that too. And I'll put you on my boaters email blast list and invite you to everything that we do and ask you to join up and have a good time. Because for me, there's nothing more fun. My heart cannot open up or be any wider except for when I'm on the water, experiencing the nature and the city and this everything that's gorgeous in this town from the water. So come up and get a handout. Anyone have any questions? That's Danny. He's one of the dock managers who helps me get into my slip when we go to the Jaguar games by boat. Which I can honestly say I've never ever been. I've been to many Jaguar games since the very beginning. I've actually never been by car. I've always gone by boat. And we boat gate and we have dock tails at the gate at the dock. So if you have any questions, yes.
Membership by year?
Okay, I'll tell you. Yes. So the way you join is you join with a one-time, lifetime initiation entry fee, we call it. One time, never paid again, and then monthly dues. Our initiation fee is $5,500 is our standard initiation fee, and our monthly dues are $249 a month. We are doing a home and patio show special, so if you stop by the booth, $4,000 off. So it's $4,500 and then $249 a month. And you lock in at the $249, never ever to increase. We will not increase that in the lifetime of your membership. And we flip our fleet every 3 to 4 years. So this year we've got 15 brand new boats because our boats were getting 3 years old, so we flip them. As a matter of fact, it was funny because whenever we're getting a new boat, we have to break it in and get the hours ready and all that stuff and the name on it. So I always tell my partner Kevin, I'm like, don't put it on Facebook, don't tell them, don't do anything until it's here in the water ready to go. Because they will be wearing you out. When's the new boat? Blah, 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 blah. So we didn't tell anyone about all the new boats, and we were just getting ready to flip them all because it was in January and not that many people were going out. Well, the truck came down San Jose Boulevard with all the six of the new boats on the truck. Well, a lot of my members live in the area, they're going to work. I'm getting texts, hey, are those our new boats on the truck? You know? So we flip the fleet every 3 to 4 years, and we, like I said, we try to add new and different things to the fleet. What else? Thank you so much, and hope to see you on the water.